May not have found it last time, but this time will be different. Maybe. Hopefully. Alright. Last time around, finally got that Omega bounty done. But I've also seen that some people call the triple Fabricator fight more challenging. Which I guess I can't really comment entirely on because I've only done one of those two now. Gotta go find the other one. Alright. The other thing I need to do before going back out into the abyss. Got those new Omega weapons last time. I should probably go mount them somewhere. I already got a pretty good idea of what I want to do with that particle driver. The rest of it, I'm not so sure. Like those rift lenses. Probably should have waited until after the customization to put stuff away, but it's a little bit late for that. Not that it matters too much. Okay. So the stick here's got the volatile particle driver, and a bunch of mini pulsars, which I think I've got more of these. Yeah, 2 more. But this one's got 3. So I won't be able to quite clone the design, unless if I rip one off of this one, but it's been working pretty good, so not doing that. The other thing is I don't have any Odysseys other than the stick that have expended mags. Do have expanded mags on this one, but oh no, wait, it is a hybrid. So maybe I could stick it here on the serial number. Take a lot of points, but it's more range, more damage, and more flux use. Although, I say more range. Only 50% of them are gonna go to max distance. Oh, hey there, Billy. See, you've got a big ol' 10 watch streak. Big ol' 1-0. Oh, I've just realized maybe I should start having things to do with the channel points, other than just highlighting messages. Just not quite sure what. Guess an easy one would be a text-to-speech function. Easy in the sense of the idea is well tested. I'd still have to implement it. But how hard could it be? And anyway, let's give a test run of serial number. Actually, let's first test its current performance before we test out the new additions. What to test it on? How about one of these? It's not exactly the easiest target, because dragon fires, if they don't get shot down, there's no shield on the old slot, so it'll take the full laser damage if the dragon fires get to shoot. Pegasus itself, though, not exactly the strongest ship. Yeah, not a very long fight at all. Maybe not the best test, but whatever. We already did part 1, now we do part 2. The other weapon. See how it goes. Definitely got it done faster though, but could just be a fluke. We need a more proper test target. I hate to admit it, it's old reliable. Think about it. Probably have access to a 14th battle group onslaught I could be testing against instead. But I've already started the test, so I'm gonna do the test with this one. Venting actually went pretty well for him. Now he's venting too, so we're reset back on the flux. Shield damage is very consistent with the Storm Needler. I guess that is the thing we're changing out. Hull damage and armor damage are a consideration. Particle Driver does have more outright damage, so it will do better against armor, supposedly. Okay, wasn't so bad. Still managed to take out the frontal armor on the old slot, but basically no hull damage. Now with the changes again. absolutely mowing down that shield. I think that was the best time to vent flux, but that also wasn't the best time to vent flux. The differences are consistent with this test and the last test. And I've got the proof of it because it still has the frontal armor, or at least a lot more of it. And it also got it done faster. Wondering if there's anything else I should change while I'm at it. Eh, it's probably fine. Got more disintegrators, but do I really need those? Would be better than the assault chain guns, but I'd have to find some other way to get the caps, or... well, I need one more point, rather than what I have left in the cap, is I guess what I should have said. Don't think downgraded the forward thumper would be a good idea. Can't really downgrade any of the stuff on the back other than switching some of these flaks over to thumpers. Which I don't think is a good idea because that would turn up the weapon flux, which is already too much. Could just leave the forward mount empty. Give this a test run. Doesn't seem as interested as sticking right into his face. On the other hand, the old slot's also taking a lot more damage on the front. Here's a different idea. How about one assault chain gun, then a couple of thumpers. Technically more DPS. Less anti-armor performance, but yeah, dump enough damage. And the armor's gonna disintegrate anyway, right? Well, let's test that. lost more frontal armor, and the enemy's taking longer to kill. It'd just be a fluke of how the first test went, considering I only did one with that loadout. Let's hit the undo button. Switch out the Storm Needler. Test it once more, just to see. Interesting choice to vent right there. But I'll trust him. Still lost most of the frontal armor, but he still killed him pretty damn quick. Okay, gonna do one more. Just one more. But I'm thinking this is the winning loadout. That being said, it's only the winning loadout against this one specific onslaught in a 1v1. Not very representative of how it's gonna do for other fights. Generally, it's a good sign if it does good in the 1v1 with the onslaught. Against a high-tech ship, as soon as the shield's down, the fight's basically over. It's ditto with midline, but the difficult part with that one is actually keeping up with them and preventing them from retreating. Although I guess, very aggressive AI on board, plus the combat burn, kinda solves that. Does not solve the part where it's a lot harder to manage firepower when you're overfluxed and surrounded. I guess it's the part that makes midline that much more difficult. Never mind my rambling. This should be good enough. What else did I have? Alright, there's the mini pulsars. No small weapon slots on here. And you can't have both a size difference of 1 plus a different weapon, or a hybrid weapon. Which I'm still not sure why, but I can't. Can't put the mini pulsars on the serial number, but I can put it on one of the other Odysseys. Could rip out the proximity charge launcher and stick 2 mini pulsars. And also take out 2 caps. Good if I had a rift beam or rift lances. I think it was just rift lances. Yeah, I don't see a rift beam in here. Don't think I got any extra missile weapons. Or did I? Do have those fragment weapons. It's too bad the 3 or 4 small energy mounts on the front of the champion aren't the hybrid ones that let you use both energy and missile. Sure would come in handy right about now. You have 2 void blasters rather than just 1. Let's give this a try. Technically a mirror match, but I think this is definitely a very different loadout from the standard champion. Let's see how it goes. So far, kinda poorly. It being said, that is a lot of point defense he's got on him. Yeah, the reduction in weapon range in between getting rid of the ITU and adding the unstable injector means he basically can't use the auto pulse basically at all. That's a bad change. Don't think getting rid of hardened shields is a great idea, but I am willing to test it. Try that again. Already much better. Definitely wondering if maxing out vents wouldn't be better than caps, but I would even be able to approach without caps. somehow overloaded him. Okay. So technically you would slowly win that fight. But how would this one do? Not that great as it turns out. Maybe I get rid of the coordinator. Stick the Void Blaster on one side. Slap some vents in. Really do wonder if I shouldn't switch out the voltaic cannons for something else. Like, say, more point defense. Wait, am I thinking of the voltaic cannons or voltaic discharge? I don't know. One of them shoots stuff down, the other one shoots those very bright orbs. Why does he keep on targeting? Whichever voltaic point defense is on the front here, it's not enough for hammers, so it's definitely not enough for reapers. Wait to see him use it again. Because it does use fragments from the fragment swarm to use that. So adding more of those probably won't be a help. But I also have burst PDs. Got a couple of hundred of those actually. other guy's totally EMP'd, but everyone's flux is way up. Thinking I might have to go back to the drawing board for this design. If not, just get rid of the ship entirely and get a different one. It is a champion after all. Think either way, get rid of the coordinator. Don't need it. Stabilized shields would help a lot. Well, somewhat. If they had an officer on board, it would probably be better than Vent, but they don't. So Vent is probably better. Rational decision is just get rid of these ships. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm thinking about it. If I wanted to do a fragment-based ship, like what I'm trying to do with the champions, maybe an Aurora would be the best for it. It's got 2 medium missiles, 4 small missiles, then a bunch of extra energy ones that I don't necessarily have to fill up. Then it can just play the keep away game forever. Would basically be like a ghetto hive unit. We'll have to think about it. Can only put mediums in this one. Just too bad. I was almost considering the shock repeaters, because even though it would only shoot straight ahead, that would add EMP capability to the ship. The only other option is ion beam, which is too much flux per second for this. It's also ion pulsar, but same problem. The only one that wouldn't take up flux would be Sabo SRMs. That's a bit more expensive than I'm willing to use, and it's got limited ammo. Rift Lightning has some EMP, but it's also expensive as hell. 20 points. And it's got a pretty high flux per second. I won't screw around with the Anubises. Probably as good as I can get them for what I want them to do, which is mostly either just be annoying or escort something. Which I think they do a pretty good job of that. Also thinking maybe I shouldn't have put the defensive targeting array on the Tempest. Too late to change that. Could give it a disintegrator. So all it has to do is get one shot in, and wherever it hits, all the armor's gonna disappear. But it would still have some hard flux buildup. Not that the ion beam has any. That one's more just for the lockdown portion. Do a test run. It's 12 points for the ion, 14 for the disintegrator. Would be 5,000 versus 5,400 for the flux capacity. Let's try it out against maybe just a mirror match. Now I think about it, the disintegrator would kinda suck against this because it's a projectile rather than a beam. But let's try. Also, there's an officer on board of that one, which my Tempest does not have. Might just be a stalemate fight anyway. Yeah. Don't even want to get close to each other. Different target. Actually got an overload on him. Not that it could really capitalize on it. Not sure if that's because the Terminator drones give the Tempest more burst than the enemy expects, or if it's just the Enforcer sucks. Could also be both. And whatever, this is gonna take forever. Let's just test the other one. I'm pretty confident in saying the Enforcer sucks because canonically, it does. The only saving grace is it's basically made out of spare parts from the Onslaught, so it's basically free. It's behaving way more like a harasser rather than what he was doing earlier, which is suitable for the disintegrator. All it takes is one stray hit to get a whole lot of armor damage. It's also getting a lot less use out of the Terminator drones though, since he's never in range for him to actually use a defensive targeting array range bonus. So just kinda sitting there doing nothing. And he's not getting too many shots in with the disintegrator anyway. Could get rid of the burst PD. Replace it with an expanded deck crew and one more point in the capacitors. Then it'd be entirely reliant on the Terminator drones. Let's give it a try. Still not really getting much of the Terminator drones, but he's definitely getting a lot more. Only was slightly closer though. Maybe extend or instead of the expanded deck crew, just give him more vents. Five points brings it from 314 up to 364. Doesn't seem like much. But what if it is? Better test it. Really wish I could have it fixed captain, so it's always the same skills, rather than rotating them. Or randomizing, I think is the right term. Lux dissipation is definitely better, but not a night and day difference. Alright. Seen enough. I'm thinking I should give it a shock repeater. The shock repeater should be on the front. Then again, the range is not great. Could give it a 2 rift lances. Yeah, fuck it. Let's test that. How bad could it be? Got the overload. But will it be worth it? How much damage or armor do these things have? 900. Not a huge amount, but that's a pretty good amount for a frigate. Or is it a destroyer? Yeah, that's a destroyer. Kinda has to get pretty damn close to make use of the rift lances though. Another overload. I think he'd get a lot more damage out of those Terminators if he didn't send them in, and instead kept them around. What do I know? I'm not the brilliant combat AI. They definitely managed to get one over on me once in a while. I'll stick to this loadout, take out the burst PD, max out the caps, and more vents. Kinda want to change something on this, but it's already pretty damn good as it is. Maybe I better not. Could switch to Doom off of missiles. Not sure if that's a good idea though. I'm thinking shock repeaters in the first two mounts here. Maybe get rid of the back mounts. And I'd have to pick what to stick in the universal small slots. With the extra points I get from getting rid of the two medium missiles, I could stick ITU on here. Wouldn't have enough rift lances to fill all four, but I could do 2 rift and 2 mini pulsars. Or just put 4 shock repeaters, but I'd have to get into taser range, even with the ITU. Not sure that's a good idea. Leave that as is. Alright. Disappointingly few changes, but if it works, it works. In other news, I have to go empty the bladder. Be right back. Wait, I'm back. Maybe this time I actually get around to doing something other than staring at the fits and not really changing much. Instead, let's go out into that darkness. Like I said I would. Grab some fuel. Grab some supplies. And also some more dudes. You never have enough dudes here. So I looked it up since last stream, just because I was curious. If you have to go to a new area in the Abyss if you want to get new planets, and no, you don't, apparently. Rogue planets that you've found before should despawn after you go far enough away. So we just kinda got unlucky last time. So surely, that means this time, we're gonna find something. For sure. Wrong button. Maybe while I was on break I should have gone and filled up my gin. Maybe I'll go and do that after I get at least one win against something out here. There's one, but not the target I'm looking for. Another ball of light. Gravity well. Please have the good stuff. Starliner. It is in good condition, though determining whether it's recoverable will require story points. Watch the salvage team via vid feed as their rig and attendant drone swarm approaches the derelict. Details from long-range optical scans are confirmed. Beneath a patina of space weathering, the hull still bears a corporate registration and the crest of the chartery of Opus, a polity annihilated during the Asconia crisis of Cycle 181. The only body found aboard is the former captain, sitting at his command console, desiccated eyes fixed ahead at the suffocating nothingness of deep space. Behind the CIC, in the Armored Computer Center, there's a Tritachyon manufactured AI core interface, just sitting there, unassuming, out in the open. A perfectly casual commercial hardware installation. This dates the ship back further, to before the AI wars. No core lies in the cradle, however. Perhaps it was taken when the ship was abandoned. Tech officer oversees an attempt to read the logs, to find some hint of what happened and why. But the memory banks have all been cleared by repeating wipe program that continued until backup power faded. A full forensic archaeological investigation might reveal answers, but you have neither the time nor the equipment for such an indulgence. A nice big snowball named ACA 6-514P. Another thing I remember seeing is supposedly, if there's any threat fleets, they like to hang around outside the border of the map, which, from my experience, is not the case, but that's what people on the internet said, so maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong. Let's find out. Not even the neutrino's picking up anything. Usually it loves to give me false signals, but right now there's nothing. Yep, another empty sector. Probably all just lights over there. Probably. Red light. Another one. Two more, to be more specific. Is that red or regular? Hard to tell. Regular. Other gravity well. Is this the one? A falcon. It is battered. As your salver teams breach the hull, it discovered telltale signs of a pirate crew. Prominently displayed hand weapons. Decor as bold and brutal as it is unsophisticated. Skulls and blood red predominant. And signs of lackadaisical maintenance performed on the less interesting ship systems. It is not a tomb ship, however. By numbers, most of the crew appears to have escaped before leaving the hull derelict. A few unfortunate victims of personal violence, or parts of them, appear to have been left behind from some kind of internal conflict. The cycles since were not kind to what remained as the life support systems slowly failed. A cursory trawl of what logs the senior officer spotted to keep suggests that this ship was part of a small pirate flotilla, tracking a well-supplied independent expedition working its way through the outer fringe. That expedition spotted the pirates, then burned rapidly towards the abyss. The pirates followed and soon lost their prey in the stultifying darkness. With supplies and fuel dwindling and no certainty of a hostile resupply, the pirate leadership began to argue and then to scrap hulls while consolidating crew onto the remaining ships, at the barrel of a gun, as necessary. There wasn't quite enough room for everyone, it appears. Rock 9CA6-702P. Not the worst rock. Still kind of out in the middle of nowhere though. Oh, got sensor ping. What do we got? 2 fabricators and a bunch of small stuff. Second strike. Not quite what I'm looking for, but we do need a warm-up. What better target? Let's bring in the slightly improved serial number. Give the tab a try. Mix in some smaller stuff, starting with mixtape. All the monitors. And cork. Bunch of overseers out front. Plus 2 skirmish units. Assault unit and a hive unit. Few line units in the back. There's another assault unit over there. Seems to be losing. There's the Fabricator. First one anyway. I should go back up the tab. Seems to be having a rough time. Starting to think maybe that Conquest is not the right kind of design to bring for this type of fight. Just a hunch. Shot down the mine right before he backed up into it. There's the other Fabricator. Got all the points. Think that's everything they've got on the board. They're only starting to dip into their combat readiness. Yet our line unit is nearly down, but not quite. 2 overseers, 2 hives, a skirmisher. Try to take out anything they try to build. Such as that. Serial numbers moving in. May as well back it up. Barely missed that swarm. We've got them pressured pretty good. Could be better. Pressuring the hive units. You're running out of map, so as soon as they can't back up anymore, we'll have them. Really wish the hitbox was bigger on those damn swarms. Basically hit anything but the core, don't count. Surprised by how well we're doing right now, though. Think the point defense of all the stuff here should take care of that. Better way, I should probably not drop mines right next to my allies. Probably not healthy. Monitors are starting to get tired. Really wish to get rid of those overseers. Also, I could have had 40 more points of ships on the board. Goes to show how much I'm paying attention. Bring in metal pipe and melting point. Actually, I just realized that's because the tab is dead as hell. I'm paying even less attention than previously assumed. Fabricator down. Now we just have to get the other one. And it just blew up the front of the serial number. But it was a needed friendly fire incident because you have to kill the shit sooner rather than later. There we go. Now it's cleanup time. That's all of them. Alright. Do we have anything beyond the one casualty? No. I'd say we did half decent, but that wasn't the first strike. That was the second strike. Still, could be worse. Could have lost. Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna get myself a refill. Be right back. Alright, I'm back with more poison. The good kind of poison. Okay. Is there any other fleets nearby? Yes. Kinda moving away. It's indeed a double with a bunch of extra shit. Not a triple though. Ooh, there's the target. The one I've been looking for. It's finally here. The triple Fabricator. With a couple of extras, of course, but important part, 3 Fabricators. It does count as a third strike. Okay. Let's see how bad this is gonna be. Pairs are not complete on the bottle, but we're just gonna have to go at it anyway. Plus 71%. Go with the stick, mixtape, metal pipe. Kill. The monitors. And the cork. Could save the points, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. Then again, that's 13 points just kind of sitting on the table there. I don't think the fruit fly is the right ship for this situation, but what if it is? Okay. Let's have one big sip for good luck. Keep forgetting they can just do that. They deployed all 3 right away. Try to get rid of more fabricators before they keep stunning my dig. Surprisingly easy approach so far. That doesn't mean that the fight's over yet. Not even close. maybe get rid of this line unit. Swear the mines try to avoid those goddamn things. The amount of times that I try to put one directly in front and it just doesn't. Like right there. One fabricator off the side here. Got exactly 50 points. I think I know what to do. And you hope I can keep harassing this guy until he fucks off. By fuck off, I mean die. Group over on the side there seems to be doing pretty well. And that's before the serial number shows up to help him. Maybe I focus on that one instead. Focus fire and all that jazz. Reapers keep getting shot down. Fabrication swarm approaching. Not if I can help it. Middle one stepped up to defend the other one as he backs up. I'll keep pressuring this one. Surprising lack of overseers so far. Technically, even if my mines aren't doing anything, they are wasting their fragments. Not sure if it's enough though. Hive units are approaching in an attempt to defend the fabricators. Now, the other thing is, the second I take one of the fabricators down, they're gonna have a lot more deployment points to send in ships. It's part of why it's probably felt kind of easy so far. Can I take the first one down? Maybe. Maybe not. Nope, not down, but nearly. Gotta get it. Got it. This one's already starting to build a whole bunch of shit. Keep the pressure up and we might be able to prevent it. Flux is very high. Mine count, not so much. Got the in construction stuff out of the way. More missiles. Just one detonation. Not quite. Don't want to give it up. One left. Can we do it? Apparently, yes. Kinda thought that was gonna be harder. Might have something to do with the ridiculous amount of pressure I tried to apply. Just so happened to work this time though. That's the part that was unexpected. Usually I charge in, try to keep pressure up, and then the whole fucking fleet crumbles. Not this time though. Not sure what I did different. Probably the monitors, if I had to say. They are a ridiculously good distraction against the assault units. Especially since those void blasters they have don't do any hard flux, just soft flux. Running for the crew down. The dill got blown the fuck up. One of the monitors got blown the fuck up. But everyone else was just fine. That's a lot of metal. It's also a lot of supplies. And fuel. A whole lot of everything. Except crew. Double fabricator with a bunch of extra stuff. Kinda want to try a second round. Could just load that save. Let's just try to get the combat readiness back up and go take out this guy. Basically just a victory lap, but it can still be pretty damn challenging. Current combat readiness is 75%. Here's another one. Another double with some extras. Could try to take on both. Do a quad fabricator fight. Not sure if I'm gonna win that one though. Alright, everything's repaired up. Give it a quick save. Try to take out another first strike. Plus 33%. This time, the mint. Turmeric. Mixtape, metal pipe. The monitors. And some more meatballs. Starting to think one really big point of this fight is just get all the points. If you have all the points and they don't have any, they don't have nearly as many deployment points, which means that the fabricators are just sitting there trying to replace the few losses they have rather than just shitting out an entire fleet and then replacing the entire fleet while you're busy, you know, deleting them. What's going on over here? I don't like it. Take out those fabrication swarms. Kinda get there in time. Yes. Just barely. See, target of opportunity right there. Don't think I can kill him in time. Nearly wrong. Also, the fucking mint got wrecked. God damn it. Send in serial number. We're gonna need him. Again. Damn, I hate the overseer units. Think that should get him. Serial numbers approaching. Got dudes behind them. One of them is still at full combat readiness, the other one is at 73. There's only 2 overseer units on the field right now. Both of them right here. I'm thinking they might be priority target. left. Constructing a bunch more. That one's already spawned. This one is also an overseer unit. Priority target. Eliminate. Merrick's in serious trouble. Can I do something about it? No. But I can get revenge. And also get reinforcements. Little glowing bits all over the place. Right, still not that much closer to taking out one of the fabricators. But we're definitely still in the fight. Hit one of them. Any of them. Damn it. Okay. We've got to start killing shit. Sooner rather than later. probably took smashing the shit out of the F key. But at least I got it. Got him overloaded. Got him dead. Just a skirmisher left over there. And he's gone. Surprisingly, I think that went worse than the triple fabricator. Casualties definitely back that up. But it's not like I went with the exact same group of ships. So maybe that was the issue. Sure have a lot of stuff. Okay. So I could leave, but I'll be honest. There's nothing else left to go do. Unless if I just want to go redo a max size Shrouded Dweller fight. There's not really any endgame stuff left to do. We could go blow up the hegemony. I mean, Jugomosto's right there. Nice fat size 8. It gets so many casualties in. With just one little sat bomb. Nah. Save that for the next Aurelian playthrough. Fly around a bit more, try to find another triple fabricator fight. There's two of them. No, just cargo pods. Where are they? No, there was at least one more around here, even if it wasn't a triple fabricator. There he is. Just a second strike. 2 fabricators and not much else. Fuck it. Might as well clean up some of the horrors in the universe. Let's try to get silly with it this time. By that I mean more odysseys than average. Also nearly forgot. Still need this one. In fact, I need it so much I should probably go over there myself before they get it. Might get a lot of reinforcements out if I don't. Get it before I get there. It's a lot of fabricator swarms. Can I get there in time? I got most of them. Very annoyed by the long range of the overseers. Again, I have nearly as much range, and I actually have damage, rather than just EMP. Maybe I'm just mad someone else can do it to me. Combat readiness is already kinda drained on the two fabricators. I did kinda have to print out most of the fleet at the start of the fight, so it makes sense. Really pressure him right now. Other than sticking mines right behind here. Hold all the points. Still weird that the monitors can actually win when they have nothing but 2 built-in flat cannons. Nothing else. Flux game is crazy. That's an assault unit right there. In the making. More damaged one is trying to retreat. Numeric needs backup. Alright. We need the friggin' monitors up front. Get rid of the skirmish unit. Then again, this is exactly his job. Distract. Then again, that is also the monitor's job. Distract. Lot of value in that one. I could get even more. at 32 CR, this one's at 50. I haven't had any losses. Even the serial number still has most of its armor. I think I just have to keep it going. Is that a stall unit I see? It's going straight for me. Not anymore, he's not. That one is nearly dead. With no pressure on him though, other than me and the old slot. The other one is constructing a bunch of assault units. Very high flux. Gonna take a gamble. It worked. Hell yeah. Getting better and better at this. Make sure he does not survive that overload. Perfect. These hive units are being a real pain in the ass. Got a lot of fragments. there's the other Fabricator. Fight's basically done. Just have to confirm it. There we go. Done and done. No, wait. There's one more skirmisher. Maybe I should give the monitors more weapons. Then again, that would take away from the shield. And what the hell is the point of a monitor if the shield's not as good as it can be? Again, they'd also have much better shields if they had officers. But they don't have that many officers. No ships down. Plenty of crew lost though. More supplies than we know what to do with. Another swarm. Double fabricator with a whole bunch of extras. Shitload of overseers to be more specific. Get the repairs in, and I might go take out that guy too. You know, since I've been doing so many fret fights anyway, what's one more? That's pretty much everything fixed up. Where'd that guy run off to? There he is. Here's an idea. How about I use telephone key this time? Got plenty of use out of the bottle. I don't think I'm gonna get as much use out of the telephone key, but don't think I've tried it. Send in stick, serial number. Tab is, again, just not the right shape for this kind of fight. Mixtape, metal pipe, numeric, the monitors. Melting point. And why not? Fruit fly. So one way or another, this is going to be a faster fight, because I do not have my slow-mo button. A lot of fragments. Everyone else seems in good condition. Opening phase of the fight complete. Not gonna bother with the fragment swarms or the construction swarms yet, because those fabricators are still gonna be at full anyway. Although, might not be at full once the fabrication swarms get there. So now I think about it, that is what they're called, right? No. They're reclamation swarms. Had it wrong this whole time. Definitely won't forget. As good as the Doom for chewing through the reclamation swarms, but it can do a pretty good job of blowing up the under construction units. Assuming I don't waste all my flux just getting nearby. crazy enough to take on a assault unit with no gloves. Fabricator down. A lot of dudes on the field. Tempted to go clean them up. Tempted to keep trying to break the other fabricator. Stay on the fabricator. Maybe not. Buck. Buck. Come on. Shit. That was a bad decision. Now they're starting to capture some points. Back to the bottle. Serial number is taking some serious damage. Doesn't have me there to back him up. He is putting out as much as he's taking though, but he's only got so much fuel in the tank. It's not gonna last much longer. Yep, there he goes. Got 53 points. Could get stupid with it. I think I will. wondering for a second there why the metal pipe was not attacking those swarms. Then I realized those are our swarms. Never gonna get used to that. Didn't get any of those. Got a lot of shit on the field. Can't let you survive, Mr. Priority Target. So from the looks of things, they really don't like it when you use their own fragment swarms against them. What a funk. Just printing out a shitload. Gotta stop it. And there he goes. I think this is the worst Fabricator fight I've done this screen. Just in terms of losses. I can't help but feel like the Overseer units hate me as much as I hate them, considering they've got all these targets, and they usually always go for me. Might just be confirmation bias though. Notice it a lot more when it happens to me than when it happens to someone else. Casualties. Serial number, melting point, telephone killer key. Technically, the telephone killer key was kinda my fault for being a little bit too aggressive when I should not have been. Serial number, I guess not that big of a loss. We did kinda lose it early in this fight though, which is kind of a big problem. But not that big, because we won. Just a lot of red on the cargo capacity. Not that I'm gonna dump anything, because all the excess is supplies anyway. Okay, how about we get out of here? If only to go dump everything back on Venus. Not sure what I'm gonna do after though. Guess while I'm still all the way out here, I could go for another Shrouded Dweller fight. Haven't done one of those in a bit. And I do mean the full-size one. Aw. A gas giant. I'll go check that one out. Perseus 0CA6- or no wait, that was not 0, that was O. Just no dash through it. Anyway, OCA6-90DG, gas giant. The huge planet spins languidly below your fleet, deep in a cryosleep of its own between the far-flung stars of the galaxy. Gravitational compression and the barest trickle of radioactive decay warm the interior well above the interstellar medium, feeding active weather systems which slowly churn across the cold face of the world. Sir, aye. Your sensor officer pulls up the live feed from a sensor subsuite. This gets the attention of Tactical. After a moment, even you can see it. A disruption. A gout of sudden turbulence. Like a dozen giant hurricanes turning over. Sensors, report. Massive storm system. Sudden heat anomaly. Relatively speaking. Some kind of upwelling. Your sensors officer responds, rapid fire. You know they don't like not having a clear answer. Powering up gravimetrics. If there's something hiding under those clouds, that'll show it. They tap at their console, calibrating a new substitute of the fleet sensor network, or subsuite. The minutes tick by as the systems self-adjust to the planet. The estimated accuracy of readings steadily rising on the shared display. The readout sharpens, clarifies, begins to map the mass density of Perseus OCA6-90DG. At the same time, the anomaly subsides, leaving storm cells the size of moons spinning through the atmosphere. Sensors looks increasingly agitated, rapidly switching between sensor interfaces to collate telemetry. Captain, I cannot ascertain the cause. A huge burst of energy was released into the atmosphere. An upwelling like... Mass readings don't show any unexpected structures or objects, natural or otherwise. Tactical frowns, ever suspicious, and says, "This happens just when our fleet arrives. I don't like it." All stations at ready. Sensors, call alert if there's any change. Your orders are acknowledged and carried out. Your sensors officer keeps their team at high alert, and all others are at the ready. Below Perseus OCA6-90DG spins complacently, its shadow side occasionally lit with patches of lightning as titanic atmospheric currents do battle. Dang. Should have brought some more machinery. Though I do know where I could get some of that. Interesting planet here at PCA6-90DB. Alright, let's go get some machinery. Done plenty of these. Every time feels like this is gonna be the time where everything goes wrong and I have to load the save. Haven't had to do that this stream. Alright. 2 overseers, 2 skirmishers out front. An overseer out back. 2 assault units and a line unit in the back. Could be still being fabricated. Can't quite see from here. It's nearly dead. Just give up already. Thank you. Can't see shit, Captain. So line unit in the way. 2 overseers, 2 skirmishers, 1 other line unit, 2 hive units, 2 fabricators. Just a pair of everything I don't like. Want to get that overseer, but he's all the way in the back. Fuck it, we try. Please die. Thank you. units it can smack down, the better. But it seems like it's gonna be really hard to get that line unit. There's another overseer there too. Wanna kill him. But can I? Oh, actually, he's still under construction. Get over there ASAP. Basically no damage on him. But I still got him. Hard to keep building dudes. Now I'm trying really hard to prevent them. Not a single mine hit. Getting worse at this. Still a significant amount of them. They still have a lot of combat readiness. Doesn't mean I can't kill one of them. Have to keep the pressure up. One down. Overseer unit. And another one going up. Most of my armor. There goes most of their constructed unit. How about a few more? The walls are closing in on you, Fabricator. And I'm gonna make sure of it. Not much of you left. And I'm gonna take it. Told ya. Damn. Surprised the Tempest survived all that bullshit. Got pretty intense there for a second. We're nearly at minimum reputation with the Fred. As you know, there's definitely a difference between -50 and -100. Alright. Let's inspect the gas giant. And get out of here. Or maybe go for another fight. Fuck it. We ball. must kill fast. And unfortunately, the mines are not resilient enough to do it. Sure wish the max level was 20 rather than 15. I'd be so fucking overpowered. It wouldn't even be funny. But we work within the constraints. The constraints is level 15. None of the mines are getting a job done. Like hell if I'm letting them get away though. Two overseers on the field. 2 hives. No wait. 3 overseers. Not 2. 3 skirmishers, 2 line units. Should be manageable. More manageable if they stop shooting down my mines. Not a single detonation. And those fuckers over there keep tasing me. God damn it. I hate that shit. Okay, that Fabricator is very high flux. Then again, that Odyssey is also very high flux. Get rid of you. Try to anyway. much shit flying everywhere. There goes all this flux built up. And there's a bunch of bullshit being fabricated right in front of my face. It's almost like that's the whole goal of this fight. As far as they're concerned, anyway. Our dude seemed to be doing decently well, other than this guy. Maybe you should, get out of here. Building some bullshit over there. Not on my watch. Every time we get close to whole bunch more show up. Every damn time. I hate them. I really do. too simple a word. The spies. Aboard. My creativity lacks, but my hatred endures. I'm gonna make you eat it. Go get him, serial number. What you're built for. Get it done. One down, one to kill. All my armor's gone. Nearly all my hull is gone. Just about out of missiles. But I ain't done. There goes the onslaught. Better make this count. And I did. just a cleanup left. I fear I've got a thirst for revenge that might never be quenched, never satisfied. So many have died to take these guys out. And yet, they still keep coming. Eh, just being dramatic. Victory is victory, no matter how much they beat down on you. And all things considered, not too many people died getting it done. Still not zero though. Okay. I think that's enough Abyss for right now. And maybe enough Abyss for one playthrough. Why am I so slow? Oh, carry capacity. It'll solve itself. Eventually. Seems like the maximum for extra supply use is 50. But then there's also the downside to how fast you can go. If it was only the supplies per day, it actually wouldn't be too bad of a penalty. Yeah. One light. Let's get us out of here faster. Sure hope it's not a red one. It is. Not that we have to fight it. Long as we treat it correctly. Okay. This is gonna take quite a while, so I'm just gonna cut it short. As I really have to go. But there's nothing left to do anyway. So, that's that. That's the playthrough. For this time. Start another one once the update's out. But until then, guess I'll play something else. So anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.